Hello everyone, welcome to my new video. In this video I'll show you my new sketches in this small sketchbook. If you've seen my old videos, you know that I started making sketches in this sketchbook with acrylic paints. But yesterday I decided to change the materials and I used watercolor pencils and watercolor. This is what I made yesterday. Both of these drawings based on my photos. This is dragonfly, apple and plant. Let me show you how I was painting it. So, what can I say about these drawings? This is the first time when I was using watercolor in this type of sketchbooks, so I didn't know how paper would hold water, and I'm satisfied with the result. I don't think that this paper is the best paper for watercolor, but also I don't think that that paper is ruined or something. The sketchbook is okay for watercolor and watercolor pencils. So what I did, I was drawing a dragonfly and an apple. This based on my photos. When I was making the sculptures out of concrete, they were dragonflies. Red dragonflies that keep coming to the table, and they were very interested with concrete for some reason. I don't know why, because in my opinion concrete doesn't have good smell, but for some reason the insects were fascinated by liquid concrete. So this is why I decided to draw this dragonfly. You might ask me why I decided to use watercolor pencils and not just watercolor. The reason is simple. I wanted to draw the pattern on the dragonfly's wings, because this is easy to use pencils and to draw the small details compared to just using brush and watercolor. So this is why I used watercolor pencils and watercolor at the same time. And I think this turned out to be good drawing. I like this drawing much more than my next drawing. So, if we talk about next drawing, I should have googled this before I started recording, but oh well, I will use subtitles. Right now it's autumn where I live, and it's September, and many plants and trees have fruits and berries, and this plant called is already having berries. But nature was so confused about the weather, because it's warm days and it's sunny, and decided to have a flower again. So this is anomaly of nature, when berries meet the flowers and they grow at the same time on this plant. So this is why I decided to draw it, because it's very unusual, and I thought this is a good idea for the sketch in my sketchbook. I'm going to be honest, I'm not very satisfied with this drawing, with the finished result, because for some reason this drawing had many green colors in it. I wanted the blue sky to look more blue, and somehow I mixed it with green, so this drawing had these greenish colors, and this is a little annoying, to be honest. For the quick sketch this is okay result, but I know that I could paint better. So yeah, that's another spread of my sketchbook. As I said before, my previous drawings were acrylic drawings in this sketchbook. And by the way, it seems like this sketchbook is dedicated to insects, and I wasn't planning this at all. It's just drawing something so small. It's just, what can you paint in this small sketchbook? Well, something very small. What is small? Insects are small. So I have bumblebee, I have wasp, and now I have a dragonfly. So yeah, that's my current state of this sketchbook. What can I also say about watercolor and watercolor pencils. I forgot again what brand of watercolor pencils I have, but I'm going to be honest, the watercolor pencils I'm using are not the best quality, and I'm very confused. Is this fault of the watercolor pencils, or is it this paper doesn't like watercolor pencils? I'm not sure. But I know that watercolor made these drawings much better, so I'm okay with this result. Plus, I'm not someone who used to draw with watercolor pencils very often, and just colored pencils at all. I used to draw with colorful pencils when I used to be a kid. When I was older, I was drawing just with regular pencils, not colored one. So I'm not a profi at the colored pencils. I don't know what good pencils supposed to be like. When I draw, I expect watercolors to have bright colors and not to scratch the paper. These pencils were not very bright, and they also scratched the paper, but I've seen pencils much worse than that. That's what I wanted to say about this material. You may ask me why I have this project on my background. Well, reason for that is because I still have silicone mold, liquid silicone mold that I have from my previous projects. I haven't used it all, and I have the Alice in Wonderland, Alice from Wonderland. This is a copy of the famous Disney sculpture. I forgot his name again, I'm so sorry. And I was looking at this sculpture and I realized that there is still a chance that I can make a plaster copy of the sculpture. Because right now it's just sculptural plasticine, and this is not very good way to storage sculptures, because, well, the sculpture can be easily damaged. So I was thinking that I want to have a silicone mold of it and to have a plaster version of this sculpture. And if you remember my old videos, I was trying to make a silicone mold of this figurine, but I failed at it. But now I realize that I can use two parts of the silicone mold. For example, I would have two parts, part 1 and part 2 of silicone mold, and then combine two parts of the sculpture and make a whole sculpture, and not just make and not just have one silicone mold. Maybe this way I would be able to transform this sculpture. I'm not sure, but maybe I'll try it. Also, you may ask me why I decided to draw in this sketchbook again. Well, because my huge project that I'm working on, concrete sculptures, are in process. I started covering my sculptures with white paint. This white paint has terrible smell. Well, all oil paints have terrible smell. I'm not talking about oil paints for artists. I'm talking about this, I don't know how to translate, construction paint. No, paint that you use when people renovate the room and building. You get what I'm saying. So yeah, the smell is terrible, but I think this paint would be good for garden sculptures. So yeah, I started covering my sculptures, but my sculptures are so huge. Plus I cannot cover all of the sides of the sculpture at the same time, so I'm covering what I can reach, then I'm waiting when it would dry, then I would turn to the other side my sculpture and add more paint. So yeah, this is not a quick process, but this is the last part of me making the concrete sculptures. So soon I hope I'll finally finish it, and then I could breathe peacefully, because this project would be finished. And I think when I finish my concrete sculptures, I would start making animations, because I have new ideas and also I have old ideas, and I should probably paint more animations, since this is the most popular topics on my channel, plus I like to draw animations, plus I have many ideas, and plus I miss drawing animations. As you can see, here's my other painting that I painted in my previous videos. Not so many people saw the process of creating it on YouTube for some reason, but at the same time this painting is popular on my other social media when I don't post videos, when I just post my drawings. So I'm like, internet, I don't understand you. Why the same painting is popular on one side and completely ignored on the other side? I don't know. This is just miracles to me. I mean, I know the answer well, because algorithms. This is why I wanted to say, for everyone who is drawing and sometimes insecure about the drawing, I'm talking especially to beginner artists who just started drawing and they have their some good drawings and they want to post it, but they're very scared. Should I post it? Should not post it? Trust me, you should post it, and post it on as many sites as possible. Because if you would pass, based on my experience, if you post this drawing only on one side, you would think something like, oh, my drawing has only 25 likes. It means that my drawing is not good enough. And this is not always an answer. Trust me, I mean, sometimes it is an answer, but other times it's just not true, because the same drawing can perform well on one side while completely ignored on the other side. And trust me, as someone who is posting drawings since I was 13, 14, I started posting my drawings on the internet. And I posted this in English communities, Russian communities, and everywhere. I just can confirm that yes, the same drawings would have very different destiny on different sites. Also, I wanted to share something that could be useful information for someone who have small dogs. When a few days ago I was working on my concrete sculptures, I had Zlatik with me, and what happened? He was bitten by a wasp or a bee. I'm not sure who. Think that this was wasp. And this is the second time when he is bitten by this insect. And for us humans, when we bit by wasp, we feel severe pain and all of that, but we overall are fine. But what I realized looking at Zlatik, that he is so small that he has very strong reaction to the poison of the insects, and he started screaming, and I was so terrified. It was awful when I remembered that. He started screaming, and he was on the ground, and all of a sudden it looked like he was paralyzed. But I don't think he was paralyzed. I think he was unconscious or something like that, but I don't know how to determine what's happened exactly to him. If you would take his pulse would do like this. His pulse and his body was non-responsive. And this was terrifying. For 5 minutes he was like that, but then he was okay again. But he immediately went to the toilet, and plus he threw up. So yeah, but then he was completely fine. So yeah, I just wanted to say that if you have small dog and you scared like what is happening, your dog is throwing up or it looks like it's paralyzed, yeah, this is very terrifying signs, and this could be anything, but in my case it was just wasp. So yeah, I just wanted to say that sometimes dogs have this reaction. I didn't know that, but yeah, I just thought that maybe this information would be useful for those who have small dogs. So yeah, this is why today I'm gonna keep working on my sculptures, and Zlatik is staying home. I'm not gonna take him with me because I don't want him to be bitten by a wasp again. There are so many wasps right now, so I was like, no, it would be safer for him if he would not interact with wasps. And the thing is, Zlatik, even though he was bitten by a wasp, when he was fine again, everything is okay, he started hunting the wasps again. He was trying to catch them and to eat them. So I don't think he learned anything about his experience, so it's better to not not let him meet wasps again. Also, I wanted to say that I'm thinking that maybe I would draw animation based on the Marvel movies, and I didn't see recent Marvel movies, but this is gonna be funny animation. I'm not gonna spoil it to you. What I wanted to say is that when I was thinking about it, I saw that people on the internet were discussing the Marvel movies in Marvel TV series, and I've seen that many people said that they liked Loki TV series. I forgot, it was a few years ago when this series came out. I, for example, was very huge fan of Loki as a character when there were Marvel movies, 2012 or something like that, when Loki was popular in the movies. And I remember that I started watching the TV series, and I watched a few episodes and I just couldn't watch it because I thought that this series were boring, I don't know. And I was very surprised when I saw that people were saying that this is one of the best Marvel projects, since there are many terrible projects that Marvel has, and they were saying, some people were saying that Loki series is much better than Deadpool and Wolverine, and I was like, what are you talking about? I disagree with that. So I don't know, but again, I was not someone who was able to finish the Loki series because I was very bored. Plus I remember that I was looking at the environment of the show, and I just didn't like these scenes. I thought that everything looks so dark, and not dark and appealing, but dark and boring. And I will remember that. And yeah, I'm someone who is very obsessed with the visuals. I'm that type of person. I mean, I'm an artist. I paint paintings. What do you expect from me? And I also realized that if I like something visually, then most likely I would enjoy the movie. Even if the plot is not the best, I would enjoy it. For example, I just finished the part 2 of season 2 of Wednesday, and I really liked it. And what I liked the most about it is the visuals. I like how everything is shot, how all of these scenes and costumes and everything. I loved it. And this gothic atmosphere, in my opinion, it was very good. Everything is colorful, but at the same time, they have this dark and gothic vibes, so it's also dark colors, so it's contrast. But when I remember that I was watching Loki, I had the feeling that this is not so, I don't know, not so visually appealing. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe people would be mad at me for saying that. It's just my opinion. As you can see, I'm someone who loves bright colors, plus I love huge contrast between colors. I love when there is very dark colors, like black and yellow, and everything is contrast and light and shadow. I love that. By the way, fun fact, when I paint my paintings, I never use black paint. I don't have black paint on my palette. I don't think I buy black paint. The dark spots on the painting that you see is mixed dark blue and dark brown colors. So yeah, I think I'm gonna finish this video here. I'm gonna go edit this video, and then I will go and keep working on my concrete sculptures. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in next videos. Bye.